Hi guys, welcome to another Zen Pop-Up. So in this Zen Pop-Up, what we're going to do is I'm actually going to configure this site here to actually have a one-to-one coaching session on book days. So I'm going to just keep it really clean and just pretend that's all I'm doing, just one-to-one coaching sessions. All right, so I'm going to be clearing this and resetting up the home page and those sort of things. So let's jump into here, and the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go in and we're going to start to set up our lives. So I'm going to go into lives. I do have some lives in here, I think, which I need to delete out. So you can see I've got an interactive webinar that I did for the last Zen Pop-Up. So I'm actually going to go into that and delete it out so it clears my calendar. So let's go into here now and let's just delete this out. And there we go. And I'm going to, right, okay, so there's two things you can do. One is you can set multiple schedules up, but if you are running a thing at a certain time, say like every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was running live coaching sessions where people could book in certain times, then I probably would not use multiple schedules, because I could use reoccurring to do that and it would save me a lot of time. So that's what I'm going to do in there. So understand that you could use multiple schedules. They would appear in the calendar if you want to, but I'm going to be using the standard web. Now I'm going to say it's not a webinar, it's going to be an interactive webinar, because it's one-to-one coaching, so I want to be able to talk and react with them, and I want them to be able to come on camera and maybe even share their screen and things like that, because it's a one-to-one coaching session. So rather than a live webinar, it's non-interactive. You know, they can just raise their hand or they can chat. And obviously live class is like live interactive webinar, but we mainly put live classes in courses, okay? And we're not doing it in this case. We're going to charge for the live interactive webinar. All right, so with that done, let's create our live interactive webinar. So I'm going to go in and create a webinar. So you notice I'm doing the webinar first, and I'm doing that for a reason, because then I can just go and set the page up to have it. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put one-to-one coaching session. Okay, now I'm going to set this to reoccurring. Now this is where you could set up multiple schedules, so you could just set up your schedules to go in there, and you could do it that way. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm going to use reoccurring here. Now something to understand, because we're having pricing on reoccurring, it does mean that each time, okay, they'll have to pay. It doesn't mean that they pay once and they're going to get access to all the reoccurrings. And that's exactly the same with multiple schedules. I know that question's come up, so that's why I'm addressing it now. So I'm going to say reoccurring sessions, and we're going to say weekly, and I'm going to repeat these on, let's just say Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Okay, I'm not going to do it on Sunday or Monday, so I've got Wednesday, Thursdays, and we're going to do a specific number. I want to do the maximum number. Now you could set a specific end date if you were going on holiday or something, but you could easily delete them out. Remember, the ideal thing with reoccurring is it remains the same link, so that's a really good thing as well. So let's say that we're going to do this in my time zone, which is London. So you would select your correct time zone, and you need to check this. And we're going to set this up so that it's going to run at 12 midday. Okay, 12 AM. We're going to start there. We repeat once a week for these times. And occurrences, I'm going to choose the maximum. So remember, when you get to 30, you're going to need to just clone this and redo it, but it's not a big problem. So here we go. So now I've set this up. Number of registries. Now I'm doing one-to-one coaching sessions. You might want to do groups, so you could change it. But I'm going to put one in there. I'm going to say it's an hour session, so I'm always going to run it a little bit over. So I'm going to say, for my particular case, 1 minute 15, because I get 15 minutes free before, 15 minutes after. So in actual fact, it's 1 hour 45 if I really needed it, or 1 hour 30 if I really needed it, because the end part will go on for an extra 15 minutes. But I try and end exactly on the hour or 10 minutes past, but I don't exceed that limit. So just be careful of that. 1 hour 15 is maximum. You can make that quite clear to them as well. Also, we need a course card in there, but before I do anything else, I'm going to just review the occurrences. So it's choosing an upcoming schedule, so I need to make sure that we're going to set it for the first Wednesday. Let's just say we're going to start next week on the 20th. Okay, so that's when our reoccurrences are going to happen. So let's have a look in here now and see what it's given us. So it should be starting next Wednesday, and you're going to see Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, blah, 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 and it goes on. So that all looks good. Now I need to do a quick course card for the one-to-one coaching. So I'm going to break into Canva now. I'm just going to pause the video. You won't really see a break in it because I'm just going to flick it straight back up. Okay, so I'm going to create my design. As usual, because it's a course card, I'm going to use 1920 by 1080. So I'm setting a custom one up. So it's going to drop my design card in here. I'm just going to quick flash a card in here, nothing special. I'm just going to look for an image, a nice photo of something like a microphone or something like that. And there's quite a few in here. This is quite a nice one in here. So I'll drag that across. I'll just place it in the corner so it covers it. And I'm going to go and grab another element. I'm not going to spend any time on this because, like, you know, it's not about that. So I'm going to take this bit now and we're going to just create an overlay for it. So let's create an overlay. Let's take that back. So it's kind of nice and blue. That's quite a nice color. Okay, so now I've done that, I'm going to put some text in here. So let's just go and grab some heading text and go your personal coaching session. And let's put that to caps. And I'll just spread this out a bit. I'm going to bring the size down so that it fits on one line. I'm going to also bring it in quite a lot as well. Just like that. Make sure it's kind of nicely centered. Then I'm going to hold the Alt key and I'm going to click and drag this down to change it. And I'm just going to select a another text type. That's let's choose Open Sans. Let's choose Open Sans Light. Okay. 1-to-1 session. 1 hour long. Okay. Good. Okay. So that's good for me. Let's bring that up and move it a little bit closer to there. All right, that looks quite nice. So I might change that to kind of a blue. Let's go in and choose a lighter blue for this. So just slightly off. You know, you can drop a little line in there or those kind of things. Again, I don't want to take too long on this. I just want to show you quickly how you can do it. And that looks quite nice. Put that in there. Drag that. Hold the Shift key to keep it straight as well, by the way. Alright, so something like that looks alright. Okay, so I'm going to now just export this out. So I'm going to go to download. I'm going to go and choose as a JPEG. I'm going to keep everything the same. Just going to click download. That's going to download in any second now. There it goes, downloading into my download folder. So I'm going to jump back into here now and I can upload that course card. So I can jump in here now. I can hit the change there. I can go to my downloads folder, find the course card and click open. And I'm not going to crop, well, I'm going to crop it, but look, it's going to be to the same proportion because I did 1920 by 1080. Okay, so crop and save. So now we've got our little course card in there. Beautiful. And now we need to go to next. So I'm going to click next and we're going to go and set the pricing up for this. So I need to choose the template first of all. Again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over this. I'm just going to click the classic and I'm going to click finish. And that's going to build my pages for me. which it does for live classes, live webinars, and live interactive webinars. So it's building all my pages. So I'm going to come back to the pages in a second. You need to make sure on integrations that you've got Stripe or PayPal set up for this. So PayPal definitely, because that's what it uses. So I'm going to add a new pricing plan here. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go into my currency, and I'm going to say that I'm going to be charging 150 per hour for this. Let's go in here and call this 1-1-2-1 session. Okay, description. You get personal help for 1 hour, where we cover all of the problems you have. And then you say what it is if you want to. So I'm going to put in here, book your session. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that. Tax category, you can set that as physical or tax exempt. I'm going to put it tax exempt. And I could set up multiple plans, and you just make this one popular if this is the most popular. So I'm going to click add to that. So now I've set that up. That is now gone in there, that pricing plan. So we can move on to the pages now. So remember, this is reoccurring, so I've only really got to do this once. So I'm going to go and edit this page, and we're going to maybe use the course card that I've got there from Canva. I'll probably export it out without the text on it and put that in myself. So I'll just let it load up. I might not do that, I don't know, but you can spend as much time as you like on all of the pages that you've got. Okay, so this is the page that we have. I'm not going to delete out this all the time or any of this stuff. This is dynamic, so later on, if we did decide to change one of the reoccurring names or the actual reoccurrence of this live coaching session, we called it something else. If I put a manual block in here and called it one-to-one coaching, I'd need to go in and change it. But because this is dynamic, if I change it inside here, if I change the name of this session, then it will automatically change for the next reoccurrence to what it is. So I want to make sure I'm leaving these blocks in and doing a minimal work on them. So the thing I've got here is the web thumbnail. Now I'm going to leave that in there, and I'm just going to leave this on default, but what I will do is I will change this to a color. So I'm going to make some very, very small changes to this. So I'm just going to change this color a little bit in here, and maybe change this color inside here, maybe make the font size a little bit bigger inside here, and font style, I'll leave this, I'll make it bold inside here. And I'm thinking actually I might leave it black so it's nice and clear. And the button, again, it's blue. There's a reason why I picked blue. It's just like it's a peaceful color. So I'm going to leave this all as it is. Now if I wanted to, I could come into here and I could take this, well, I would actually just duplicate this out, then I would take this, delete this out, and now I could actually export this as a background. So if I went into here and I went download, I can now select the pages. So I'm going to select page 1 only. I'm going to choose PNG from here, and I'm going to choose one page, which is number 2, and I'm going to click download. So I'm going to download this one page, which is just this background. So remember, I got two frames here. One's got the text, one's got the background. So now that's downloaded, I could upload that into here on the background. So I put a blue in, but if I wanted to, I could come into here and I could upload the session card. So that's the one we first downloaded, and this is the one with just the background. So I could put that in there and it should look quite nice. So I'm uploading without crop there, you can see that, and I'll probably put an overlay behind it because nothing else is showing up. So I'm going to go and overlay, and I'll probably choose an overlay of white, and that will just knock that back. Now it looks a lot more professional. So I'm going to click save to that, and we can just work through the rest of the pages. Now I would, even though it's one-to-one coaching, I would make sure that you SEO this. So I'm going to put in here 1-to-1 coaching sessions on Zenler. Okay, so you would put something in here. I might use the same course card for the social media icon, so I go and choose that course card in there, so you get that nice little course card. Or of course, you know, you can upload the other course card that we've got, which is that one there, so make it even cooler. Upload without crop, and you can see it's now in there. And then I put some text about it. Book your 1-to-1 coaching session and learn to create amazing courses with Zenler. Okay, so something like that. I'd make sure that I've got the keywords on there, so I'd make sure that the keywords are going in there as well. Put a comma, next one, coaching on Zenler, and that way you've SEO'd this up quickly. So a little bit of an extra bonus for you guys there on how you can do that. So I'm going to click done, and I'm going to click save. And there's two ways I can jump through these pages. I can click in here and go to this page, or I can go back to here and go through the pages here. This is how I tend to do it. I tend to go in, and you're going to see I'm opening multiple pages up. Do you see them opening and they're spinning? This is a time-saving technique. If I open these pages up, it means I can jump between them really quickly and format them. So I'm going to turn off my Canva pages. I'm finished in there, and I'm finished editing this page. But I'm going to leave this in here. So that's loaded up there. I'm not going to do a lot with this. I'm simply going to go in. This is the pricing page. I'm going to put this in here, and I'm just going to turn the overlay on. And again, I'm just going to put it into that white that we had before. And that looks nice in there. I am going to do a little bit with the padding. Let's just go into here and choose some spacing at the top, some spacing at the bottom. Just put it to 100 there so it looks nice. Click save. That's that page done. I'm going to jump into this page now, and we're going to basically do this exactly the same as what we did before. So I'm going to go to background image. I'm going to click background image. I'm going to go to overlays. I'm going to choose white. Bang. I'm going to leave the rest of it as it is. I might increase the overlay a little bit. Click save. That's done. I'm going to go into this page now. I'm going to do exactly the same. We're going to jump across. Jump that in there, overlay, go to there, go to there, turn this up a little bit so it stands out, click save, and go into the coaching page. Notice SEO's come up, so make sure you fill that out. In this case, I'm not going to for this tutorial, but I'm going to click save to that. This is the replay page. If you want to have a replay page, if you don't, which we probably don't with, well, you might want to, but you might want to send them the video as opposed to put it in the replay page. So what I like to do is I just like to say no to this. No, I just like to go in here and I just put no replays, private to tuition, so that nothing, you know, no one, if someone did accidentally land on that page, that's what it would say. So I'm going to click save to that, and now all our pages are done. Again, you can SEO that page if you want to. So there we go, there we go. So the only thing we've got left to do now, after I've saved that, is to do the automations. So we're going to jump into the automations now. I'm going to show you how to set the automations up for it. Once we've done this, our lives are all set up and they can be paid for, and all we need to do then is to put that onto the home page or to whatever page we want to put it onto. So it's going to be really easy. So next we're going to jump into automations, okay? And this is where our automated emails go out for people that have registered and bought into this live interactive webinar coaching session. All right, let's jump into automations now. So we're going to jump into automations and we're going to check through these. So the first one is the webinar registration page. So we've successfully registered. So I'm going to change the title of this. This goes out as soon as they've registered, so from registration 0. So you might want to put the, make sure you've got the right email address in there and you've got the name. So in this case, Zen Popup. So let's just go and call this team. Okay, so you have successfully registered for your 1-to-1 session. You successfully registered. So you have registered, you have paid and registered for your one-to-one session. So I'm changing this a little bit, but just wording it a little bit differently so it just looks good. So you've got hi first name, you successfully book your spot on the live webinar. Now, this is a paid one, so I'm going to actually mention the word paid in here. You have paid 150 for a 1 hour session. So this is just adding a little bit in just to make it a little bit clearer for your students, so they know that they've paid, so they've got a confirmation of that as well. And then it says the topic, and then when, and then the join link. So you really don't need to change anything more. Now, of course, you know, if you wanted to, guys, you can put your logo into here, and you can even add personalization in here. So I could put in here, I could shove some personalization in here, like the first name or something, and then have a comma there, and then you've paid, so, or a colon, so that it actually personalize it straight into their inbox. This will go out straight away. So I can make this look a lot better. Obviously I could put some logos in there and things like that, but this works in its own self. Now we also have attached calendar event, so they can attach that to their calendar, so they'll be informed when that's going to happen inside here. So I'm going to click preview now just to have a look how it appears. Now you can see it's on here. This will generate this code, which will be the join link. It's going to give us the time in here and the time zone that we're working in and all of that stuff. So that's cool. So if you wanted, if you had a lot of customers from maybe America or something, and you wanted nothing time, you can manually put a time in here. So you could put something like you know, 4 PM EDT or something like that, I don't know. And then what you would see is you would get this, and then it would say 4 PM EDT. So you can actually add to the end of it if you want to, which a lot of people don't really know about, but you can. So you can tie it up with what you've already got going on in the personalization settings themselves. So you've also got webinar host down there. It's always worth checking that that's the right thing. See on the webinar it says David, so that's fine. You could delete that out, and you could just put if I wanted to, I could delete that part out, and then I could just put see you for the live experience, and then I could put team pop-up. So I can manually replace this if I don't want to use the personalization inside that part, and generally that's what I kind of do. I'll add signatures in there, I'll put my logo at the top, and I might even put an image into here. We want to keep it very simple so that it does get to their inbox. So I'm going to click save to that. It's going to say apply to existing students. Well, we haven't got any, so it really matters not whether we click no or yes. Now if we've already got people in there, if we were running this and there was like more than one person in there, then you might not want it to apply to those old people that have already registered, so then you click no. But if you wanted to apply it to all, you click yes. In this case it makes no difference, it doesn't matter which one I press because no one's in here. So after this, the registration mail sequence, we have the reminder sequence down here. So in the reminder sequences, these are set to pause. I always recommend that you activate these and that you format these as well. So this will go 1 hour before the scheduled event. So again, I want to come in here and make sure everything's you know, I want to make sure everything's the same as what I've got in the other mail. So reminder for your paid live starts in 1 hour's time, you know, and so you can put something like that if you want to. And I can put in here the personalization. So again, I might want to do first name colon space, and then you go to reminder our webinar. So you change this our live 1-to-1 session will take place within 1 hour. Use the link down to join. We will see you on your live event. So you can change that however you like, again the same as you've got before. So I can come in there and I can delete that out and put team Zen Popup. Okay, so let's just preview that as well. I suggest that you preview everything, looking at it, making sure everything looks good, and that does look good. I'm also looking at that there, so that's good. And now what I want to do is I want to save it, and it's going to say actions currently paused. Do you want to make it live? Yes, I do. I need to apply to existing. Again, that same thing applies. So we're going to click yes. And now you're going to see that it is live in here. You can see it says live. You can turn it live on and off in here as well. So it now leaves us with this one. This is 1 hour before. This is 1 day before. So you can see here 1 day before the event. You can change these to minutes, hours, weeks before the event starts. So again, we need to come in here and we need to change this to what it is. So I'm going to put it in here and I'm going to personalize this. So you can see how quick that I'm working with this. Your live session 121 starts in 24 hours. So again, you know, you put your links in there. I don't think I need to show you everything that we did last time, because you just know I just showed you 2 of them, so it's pretty obvious. So there we go. So that's all working in there. Webinar, your reminder to our webinar, to your live session, you know, and you might also want to put in this 24-hour one, or even the 1 hour one, just to make sure people are prepared. I'm going to do it in the 1 hour one. Actually, I'm going to save this. I'm going to click currently paused. I'm going to make it live. Doesn't matter which one I pick in this case. And now that's set up. So in the 1 hour one, I'm just going to do a little thing at the bottom, because this is really good. See you on the live event. And I'm going to just go, make sure you have a pen and paper to take notes during the session. Recordings will be done, and if you would like a recording, please let me know during the session. Some people might not want a recording of it, in which case you don't have to send it to them, but if they do, you can just send it to them. I mean, they're paying for this one-to-one live, so it's not a big problem to send an email out to them and just drop that video that's been recorded from Zoom and drop that into a drive and send them the link. It's not a problem at all, so you might as well do that. So I'm going to click save to update that one, and now our whole live session with 30 sessions have been done. They've all been done. Now pay attention to, if you're changing these things in here, you've got to be careful, because it needs to be generic. Now this is especially important with the pages. Remember the pages, I said there's dynamic blocks. If you hard code text in there and it's not relevant to that other session, then it's not going to make sense to the user. So be really careful about that. Okay, so if we go to the calendar now, this is our session all been set up. And I think that was about half an hour that took, and we have those sessions all set up. We've got 30 sessions now. If we click through the calendar, you're going to see that those sessions run every Wednesday, Thursday. You can see that, and that runs for 30 sessions, finishing on the 31st, where you'd reset that up. So now we need to go to the home page. Now at the moment I've got it here. Remember I said to you right at the beginning that we're actually just going to treat this site as if we're just doing coaching sessions. So we're going to set a new page up, and we're just going to drop the calendar in there for people to book a session. So really easy. We're going to go to site, we're going to go to pages. I'm going to create a new blank page, because I'm not going to destroy my original home page I've got there. Add page. We're going to go, I'm going to call this 1-to-1 sessions. Okay, and I'm going to copy that. I'm going to drop that URL. I'm going to drop that into there, and I'm going to publish the page for all users, and I'm going to click add. So this is going to create this page now. So now that page has been created, let's just let that run through. There is our page there. So I'm going to just start to format this. So I'm going to go in background image. I'm going to drag in our blank, and I'm going to add a row. And I'm going to go add an element in here, and I'm going to go to heading. And I'm going to grab this, I'm going to make this white. So I'm going to come down here, make it white on this blue, and I'm going to go book your 1-to-1 session and learn Zenler. And I'm going to actually go and drop another element now. So I'm going to click the plus sign. I'm going to go to headings. I'm going to go to heading 2. And inside here, I'm going to change this text type, make it a lighter type to match the style that I've got in my actual course card. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to make this white, and I'm going to change the text. Sessions last 1 hour, and we will be focusing on a particular part of Zenler, which you can decide on during the live. Okay, good. And I'm going to take this one, I'm going to duplicate it, I'm going to take this, I'm going to drag it down with our true drag and drop editor, and I'm just going to put in here session price, and then I'm going to go 150, and then I'm going to go was, and then we're going to go 200, and then I'm going to select it, and I'm going to press the Control and S, and that's going to add a strike through onto this. Now it's also going to set up the SEO, so I do suggest that you SEO this page as well. I showed you quickly on the last bit how to do that, so just make sure that you SEO that page. And once you've got that, now we can go and we can add the calendar. So I'm actually going to go into blocks. I'm going to go down to our live calendar here, and I'm going to drag this block straight into here. So this is now in here, and people can choose their event that they're going to. So I'm going to choose this, and I'm going to actually duplicate this out. I'm going to bring this down and go into here, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to change this. I'm going to say book your session below, and then I'm going to do something like that. Let's go and change this a little bit. I'm going to choose a background color, and I think I'm going to go into a darker kind of blue. That's a little bit too kind of darker blue like that. That looks good. And I think I'll give it a bit of padding. This is something that a lot of people don't do, and it looks terrible, it looks too close. I always give it a little bit of air around it. Okay, so I'm giving it a little bit of air around there. Book your session below, and I'm going to also then drop in a little bit of an icon. So I want a little arrow here, so I'm going to search in here for arrows, and just going to hit enter. It's going to give us a little arrow. So these are quite good. These look quite nice when you drop them in. So I'm going to put the circle in there. There it is. I'm going to select it. We're going to increase the font size. I'm going to go to style, and I'm going to go to font size. I'm going to make it about 60, so it's nice and big. And I'm going to put it into a white, and then I'm going to come up to the settings. I'm going to go to animation, and we just want it to sort of go down. So I'm going to have a look. Slide right, slide down, begin. So there you go. And I'm going to do an interval. So I want to do an interval of this going every sort of 2 seconds. And I'm also going to give a bit of space around this to push the arrow down a little bit as well. So let's just give a little bit of space down there. I'm going to bring this up a little bit, and we're just going to click save. Now what we've done there is now we've created this. So now I need to make this the home page. So we're going to jump across to here, and we're going to go to our home page, and now I'm going to be selecting our logged out users as one-to-one session. So logged in users can be whatever page you like. If you're just running one-to-ones, you might even want to just put the same and click save. Let's now have a look at our site and see how it looks. So we've got Zen Popup here. I'm going to refresh this. This will get replaced with the new one now. There we go. We've got a lovely block in there, and people are going to come down to this. Now we're going to check this in incognito. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go to, I'm using Chrome, by the way. I'm going to go to those 3 little dots, new incognito window. I'm going to paste that in there. I'm going to hit enter. So as you can see, if we click through on here, you're going to get one-to-one coaching come up, and we're going to click register. And if we register, you're going to have the time when it's set up and register now. So when we click register now, we're going to go through to the pay now page. Now remember that you need to have PayPal set up to do this. So you need PayPal in there to be able to use this feature. So inside here now, we could sign up for this. So if I was to put my email address in here, I would pay for it, and I would pay the $150 because it says it there. So then my emails would fly out to them. So what if one of the sessions is already booked? How does that look in the page? So let's go back and take this session here, which is the 10th of August. Okay, so that's our first session. So I'm going to basically put myself in as a test user, and I'm going to say that I'm going to register for this, so I shouldn't be able to buy this. So I'm just going to close this down. We're going to jump into our users. So these are all fake users anyway. So I'm going to come in as a student here. I'm going to pick let's go to all, and let's add a user. So I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to add a user in here. This is how you can test really easy. So I'm going to call this test, and we'll call this test, and we'll go, actually sometimes I like to put names in there because you actually see it then. So let's just go and put John Smith, and then let's choose an email address. So I'm going to go and choose one of these. Let's go and put this at +500 in here. The user role, we're going to choose it as a student, and I'm going to manually just set a password here. Okay, and I'm going to go down here now. We don't need to put any of this stuff in here. We're not going to course, plan, funnel, live course. Here we go. So we want to come down here to one-to-one coaching. So we're going to be registering for the one-to-one coaching inside here, and this will be the most current one. So it will be the first one because we're testing this out. Remember, this is the first one in here, which is this one here. Okay, when we're testing. So we've got that, and we say live webinar. No, that's all right. That's okay. I'm not going to send a notification. I'm just going to add. So now we've added, we're going to refresh the page. So I've actually been added to that live, and we can check that. If we go into lives, we can go to our live interactive webinar, and we can click this, and you're going to see that one registration. Remember, we set a limit on this of 1 inside of the live itself. So I'm just opening that up now so I can quickly show you there. Maximum registrants 1. So no one else should be able to sign up for this. So I'm going to go back to my incognito window, and you need to make sure here that you are refreshing the page. So I'm going to just close that down. I'm going to refresh this page. Guys, if you're having problems with this, then just close it down and reopen it back up again. So if you want to doubly make sure, you go in here, new incognito window, and then you put that back in there again. Now I shouldn't be able to book myself for the first session, the first available session, which is this one. So I'm going to click it. Let's see what happens. So live, and we click register, and inside here it's going to all spots for the live webinar have now been booked. So you cannot go into this. It's telling you they're all booked. So that particular session is done. Okay, so that is good to know. Now I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, couldn't we just have it so that it says it's booked? Now this is something that I've mentioned to the team, and hopefully it will happen so that it actually shows in red or something that it's actually registered for that session, because it's not showing up on here. So what you can do, and this is quite a good fix for this, is you can go into the live. If someone's registered for that one before, when you get that email coming, just jump into that live, and if you go to view occurrences here, you're going to see that you have all of here, and you can actually edit inside here. You can click the edit, and or we can change it in here. Oh no, no, because if I put booked in here, I think it's gonna ripple through all of it. Let me just check. I was hoping there was a workaround, and I haven't tried this before, so like to do these things live. No, they're all saying booked. So I think if all of them, yeah, because they're all generic based off of that. So that is a problem with that. But it does show on that page, like I was showing you, it does show on that page, so they won't be able to book it. You could say, you could actually write on the page, so this would be another way of doing it. If someone's automatically booked, you could come into here and you could put booked days. So I could do something like, let's edit this page, let's go in here and let's duplicate this, and let me just drag this block to the bottom here, and then I could put 20th July fully booked. Okay, so you're telling people choose another date. Okay, so you could put that in there after everybody. I know it's a little bit long-winded, so hopefully we have something that actually shows in red there and changes that, which I think we're ready to do that because we've got register sessions there. It should be showing in red. So I think that's something that's going to go in, but at the moment what we can do is say booked for fully for that one. So if you've got another one here, you could put 21st booked, you know, so you could do something like that to make it work. But you can see it all works. It's really quick once you've got it all set up, and you can add this little bit at the top that tells people that one's booked, that one's booked. So as your bookings come in, it's like going to take you 2 seconds just to put those things in there, and then you're set and done. So that's how you can set up a one-to-one session. So hopefully this Zen pop-up's been really useful to you. This feature that we've got with the calendar is the first iteration, so do remember that we will be, you know, we will be adding features into this as we sort of develop it more. So this is really important for you to sort of remember as well, that will happen. All right, guys, so that's another Zen chat up, that's another Zen pop up for you. So hopefully you've enjoyed it, and now I'm going to pop up live. If there's any questions coming on the chat, I will answer them inside there. So guys, I hope you liked that little workshop session that we prepared for you there. That was all about one-to-one coaching. There has been some questions that have dropped in. So Jane Helliwell has put, you mentioned using PayPal. She only has Stripe. Unfortunately, at the moment, only PayPal is going to work for the paid lives, but it is something that the team are working on for sure. I have one from 𝗙cie Patel here, and she's asking, what if I have set up 10 sessions for one person? How do I do that, please? Well, this is all about one-to-one, like one-to-one private sessions. So someone could go through and book 10 sessions, or they could, or you could actually just set up a course and put 10 session lives in there, which would probably be the better way of doing it. If you've got a particular start date and an end date, you could set that up as a course. Really easy, just set up as a course. Set up all your lives, you can clone or duplicate them, and you could just drop them straight into the live class. I might actually do that as a Zen pop-up, but it's not on what we're doing today, which is individual one-to-one coaching sessions where people can book multiple ones, paying each time as opposed to a block of lessons. So that's how you could do it in there. Like I said, 𝗙cie, I'll probably do a Zen pop-up on that, because lives are what we are talking about. You know, we're doing a lot on lives, so I really want people to understand all the things that you can do. So here we go. So 𝗣𝗢𝗣𝗪, I think she asked this before I got onto that part of it, but she's asking, I was just to ask where you put them, where she put the lives, so people can see and book them. As you saw there, I just set that up on the home page. Well, I created a new home page and I linked that to the home page, but you could actually drop that calendar block into any of the pages on your site. So for instance, you might at the top have a navigation that says live one-to-one coaching. When they click through, it could be the calendar in there, and then they click through. Now do be aware that your calendar will put any lives on there. So if you're running lives in courses, you're running a webinar, or you're setting up a stream live, they will show it in the calendar as well. So make sure that you're marking them in the calendar really well, like one-to-one session, and then people know exactly what they are. We do have the little code at the bottom so you can see the difference between each of them, and on the left hand side you can of course click and book through that as well. So that I think is about it. So that is all the questions that I've got come in, which is great. So hopefully I've answered your question. I've got quite a few people come in. It was, but I'm sure people will be watching this on the replay, asking questions and all those sort of things as well. The issue with the when you're booking it and it not saying booked, I've actually reported that already, so I think the team are working on something like that. Remember, this is the first iteration of it. It's just like the app, you know, we're constantly developing things. We've got it out because people have asked for it, but we're now playing around and just making things better, and we use a lot of your comments to base what happens with that particular part. So I know people have asked, like on the calendar, can I put my courses in the calendar, or those sort of things as well. Not at this stage, but it might be something that comes later. We're not sure. We might have a different calendar for that kind of thing. We don't know at the moment. So well, the team does, but I don't know personally, otherwise I would tell you. So guys, that is a Zen pop-up. This is quite a long one today, and it's all about focused on one-to-one coaching. So I'm going to log off now, and I'll see you very soon for another Zen pop-up on Zenler.